Hello everyone, my name's Steph, I'm Botanist Cool, and today we are painting some Forest Gnome Scouts from the Monsters to Land mini box. If you guys are enjoying these videos, make sure to like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Let's get right on into it. First and foremost, as always, let's go through the colors. From Army Painter's base set or their D&D collab, we have matte white, matte black, uniform gray, Feywild emerald, as well as zombie flesh, Otague brown, ruddy skin, and Minotaur hide. Those were the colors I used today, and honestly, those are pretty simple and very fun little painting we did. Now, the Forest Gnome Scouts are gnomes in the forest on frogs. What's not to love about this? I absolutely adore it. I still have the book, so let's talk about the stats of these characters. AC of 14, 99 hit points, which is a lot, admittedly, but also you have the frog and the gnome, so maybe that's combined. You have 14 strength, 16 dex, 15 con, 15 intelligence, 14 wisdom, 12 charisma. With that frog, it should be a lot more charisma. That's all I'm saying. A really good dex saving throw, and they have dark vision. They speak common and gnomish. With a challenge rating of 3. What the hell? Challenge rating of 3? Nah. With that much HP, it's a lot harder of a challenge rating. Like, I would not think level 3 folk could take down something with 99 health in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe if they're like really like building out to do that specifically, but like it sounds wrong. I would put this at like level 5, 6 for sure, especially with their actions. They won because they could do a lot of spell casting. And to be fair, they only have level 1 spells and only 3 slots of them. So their offense makes sense for like lower levels, level 3, level 4, but their health and their tankiness makes sense for like higher levels. So between levels 3 to 6 is where I'd put them, honestly. They could do multi-attack, so they could do one bite with the frog and one attack from the gnome itself. They have a spear. The spear does 1d6 plus 2 piercing damage, or 1d8 plus 2, depending if they're using 2 hands. The bite is going to be doing 1d6 plus 1, and you could grapple the target with a DC of 12. And there's also the swallow. If the frog makes one bite against a smaller creature, it can swallow it. So that is something. Oh my god, that is certainly something. But yeah, these are really cool little guys, and here's what I did to paint them, right? I first and foremost mixed Feywild green and zombie flesh to make the base coat for the frog itself, and I really enjoyed that color. I then started to use the Otague brown to do the actual like clothing that the gnome is wearing. I used ruddy skin for the skin. I used the Minotaur hide, I believe it was. Yeah, the Minotaur hide for the cape and the hair. And then I used the various mixtures to do some highlighting and what have you here and there. And of course, uniform gray for the actual ground. Now, what was really cool was I had the chance to really do a lot of small detail highlighting to make the frogs pop out a bit more. And I had a lot of detail to do with the cape to make it look more like a woodland foresty cape covered in leaves and what have you. And I think I did a pretty okay job. These are game worthy for sure. And I'm very proud of how the frogs highlighting came out, because I had highlight small little areas around the mouth, around the eyes, upper areas on the back and ridges and what have you. And I did that after dry brushing a little bit of Minotaur brown on there. That way I could make it more like a toady greenish brown color instead of like a pure green color. It's not like it's a rainforest frog. It's just like a normal dirty kind of frog, and I love them. I love the frog, so I'm really happy with how those turned out. And I'm really happy in general with how it did. But funnily enough, actually, one more color. I used Fair-Skin because, and I forgot this until I just picked them up, literally. The frogs are eating someone, another gnome, it looks like. And I decided, hey, they're not gonna be forest gnomes, they're gonna be like a city gnome that they're eating. So like they actually have a hand coming out of their mouth, which is really funny and only somewhat disturbing. So I did do a lot of that dry brushing with the Minotaur hide to make that green a little bit more brown, and then I did a lot of highlighting there as well. I'm very proud of how they came out, and I'm very happy with how they came out. I do think these guys make a fun little encounter, especially if you are just having people go into the forest for whatever reason. I don't think they necessarily need to be like long-term enemies. I definitely think that it'd be a lot of fun to have them like speak to these gnomes, get to know this culture and the civilization that's living in the forest, and understand what's happening there. So I think that they're a great introduction to a whole new part of the map that you haven't shown your party, and kind of an introduction to a new part of the world's culture, right? Because these forest gnomes, for sure, like live much more secluded. They literally like are living on these frogs, like as mounts and what have you. Like they're living a more secluded life. They're not living near a city and that kind of stuff. There's a whole different culture that's just right around the bend with them, and I think it's a really fun idea to explore that kind of stuff with your players, and just a lot of fun to do. So they're cute little minis. I would love to use them. And yeah, I will also say this, with these smaller minis, it's actually taking me less time than it used to. These kind of minis would take me, 2 of them would take me like 3-4 hours back whenever I first started mini painting. Now these took me like, including all my breaks, I did a lot of breaks to stand up, stretch, etc. And you probably noticed that there's like a whole like 10, 15, 20 seconds of me just standing, of nothing happening, because I was standing up at a time and stretching, what have you. It took me like maybe 2 hours in all reality, and if I had focused, probably would have taken me an hour and a half to really finish these 2. And there's still a few things I want to get. I have a little bit of difficulty hitting these like little nooks and crannies in the middle there, and especially on the floor. There's a little bit of white spaces here and there. I gotta, you know, get them with the gray. But in all honesty, I finished them relatively quickly, and I'm pretty proud of it. So yeah, I'm happy with how that turned out. You guys are now seeing me like turn around the frogs and show the frogs up close. I did make their eyes just pure black because I didn't want to really do a lot of fucking work on those eyes. Eyes are not my strong point right now, and I want to focus on the basics before hitting the eyes. Except for the beholder. Those eyes were fantastic. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure to like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. If you want to support my mini painting in a more direct way, I have a throne. It's going to be in the links down below. Feel free to send a mini my way, and the best way to help, honestly, is just to subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank y'all very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had a good one. Y'all stay safe, stay Botanist Cool, and I will see you soon. Bye, everyone!